TNA Wrestling crosses the line again as we are less than 24 hours away from Bound for Glory, the biggest pay-per-view in TNA history. But before we get to Bound for Glory, we have one more Impact Wrestling show left. Lots and lots went on the show on Impact this week. None more so than the start, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match at Bound for Glory needs its number one and its number 30 or 20 competitor. And that was done in a six-way scramble match. And the scramble was involved AJ Francis, Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Callahan, the Rado Kid, Jake Something, and Jason Hotch. Now, on this match, like I said before, the winner of the match will be number 20. The person that gets pinned would be number one. After a hell of a contest, lots of stuff gone on in this match. Callahan did hit the Cactus Driver 97 for a close 2 count on Kazarian. However, Francis breaks up the cover and steals the win for himself. AJ Francis will enter the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at number 20 tomorrow night at Bound for Glory. And Kazarian, who coincidentally is the referee for the main event between Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth, will enter at number 1. You know where this looks like it could be going, guys. Could Kazarian win the gauntlet from number 1, referee the main event, and then cash in the shot at the end of the main event to become TNA World Champion? And he's the ref, don't forget. So my prediction, and we'll do the Bound for Glory predictions at the end, and I'll tell you exactly what I think is going to happen in this. But nevertheless, Call Your Shot Gauntlet tomorrow night on the TNA Plus app. Do not forget that. That's where you can watch Bound for Glory. However, AJ Francis will be number 20, and Kazarian will be numero uno in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. Now, backstage with Gia Miller at this point, she was talking to Jonathan Gresham, who will face Josh Alexander later on the Impact show. And Gresham just wanted to show everybody and remind everybody who the fuck that he is. And that is the best technical wrestler in the world. He doesn't care about Josh Alexander, his problems, or his attitude. All he's going to want to be in that ring and whoop his backside. And he called it a comeback before we head to a commercial break. Now, if you remember, actually, before that, Mike Santana, he took us through a tour of Lower East Side of New York, his neighborhood, his significant area, and how big of a role it played in his life. And he wrapped that up and getting ready to take on Moose at Bound for Glory. But more on Mike Santana and the aforementioned Moose later on Impact. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, Ash by Elegance said that she was going to make Heather Reckless elegant. So we are about to see the star of Heather by Elegance, the makeover for Heather Reckless. There was a big build up by George Iceman on this. There was some candles on a table. There was the bottles of champagne or water, whatever you want to call it, at this point. And Heather by Elegance appears. She was looking all dolled up, and Matt Raywald on commentary deserves an Oscar for his performance. He was talking about being breathless and nearly at tears at the sight of the new Heather by Elegance. It was fantastic. George Iceman brought a mirror to show Heather, and she couldn't believe it. She loved what she saw of herself, and he was going to celebrate with all. They were all going to celebrate with a glass of champagne. But as they cheers each other with the champagne, the theme of Zaya Brookside comes out, and she comes out to spoil the party. She warns him that karma has a way of coming back at you. And with that said, NXT's Brittany Reese attacks them from behind. They dunk Heather and Ash's faces in the bowls of champagne punch, or whatever you want to call it. And that, funnily enough, has set up the pre-show, or the Bound for Glory pre-show match, which will indeed be Brittany Reese and Zaya Brookside against Heather and Ash by Elegance. That will be on the pre-show for Bound for Glory, or should we say the road to Bound for Glory, tomorrow night, which we're very, very, very much looking forward to. I keep saying this all the time: TNA Plus app, people. That's the home of TNA. And it's just for you guys in the UK that watch on Ayozat TV, some bad and good news for you. The bad news is it's coming off of Sky TV, or is already off Sky TV, so I believe you can only stream it. The good news is when it comes back on, it will be on Freeview TV. So everybody in the UK with a Freeview television will be able to watch TNA weekly on TV. With Ayozat TV will make the date evident when it's there. Just be warned about that. But those of you that are currently looking for TNA, is not currently on TV at this possible time. You can stream it on Ayozat TV. You can download the TNA Plus app, which is the best place to grab all of your TNA stuff. Old school pay-per-views are on there as well. Get on that. But most importantly, for the fans in the UK, when Ayozat relaunches on TV, it will be on Freeview, which gives us all an opportunity to watch TNA weekly. Fantastic news for everyone over here in the UK, and great for TNA's outreach, of course. Very good that it'll be back on like a free TV like it used to be when it was its heyday over here in the UK. We used to be on Challenge TV. So very much looking forward to that. Now, we already mentioned Josh Alexander was going to take on Jonathan Gresham. Josh Alexander come out with Sinner and Saint, and then out comes the Octopus himself. And, they start off with a sign of honor. Well, Gresham wants the sign of honor, the handshake. Alexander wants nothing to do with it, as they put on an absolute clinic in this match. These two are so well matched. These are absolutely fantastic. I love it. I absolutely loved it. The only thing I would say about it is there was a lot of involvement from Saint and Sinner, and that actually led to Josh Alexander winning the match due to that outside interference from Saint and Sinner. But that wasn't all. Once that match was finished, 3-on-1 attack on Josh Alexander, not Josh Alexander, sorry, on Jonathan Gresham started. Steve Macklin then tries to make the save, and he ends up getting blasted with a steel chair by Josh Alexander. He then zip ties Macklin's hands behind him. Saint and Sinner, Sinner and Saint. Jesus Christ. It is late on a Friday, guys. I've been at work all day. It's a killer. Sinner and Saint continue their assault on him, and they zip tie his hands to the ropes. The ring ropes continue hitting Macklin, who's defenseless at this point. Security manages to break up and intervene. However, Alexander, Sinner, and Saint kick at them to keep them from entering the ring. What I will say about this is that all of this time, Steve Macklin is smiling at this. So he's showing Josh Alexander that he doesn't care what he's done. He's enjoying the punishment. And then to finish it off, Sami Callihan and Cody Deaner hit the ring with Ace Steel, CM Punk's good friend Ace Steel, to put an end to the absolute craziness that was going on in that match. It was crazy. The match was great. The finish was better. Macklin showing you what an absolute mayhem beast that he is. Those two are going to have a killer match tomorrow night at Bound for Glory. It should be. That could even be a show stealer, to be quite honest with you. Really looking forward to seeing that match along with all the others on the card. We talked about NXT with Brittany Reese earlier on. Now we've got Wendy Cho, who was with Rosemary. She took on Jodie Fret, obviously, at the weekend. Tomorrow night, Rosemary and Wendy Cho get a chance to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championships against Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jodie Fret. This match was actually some really good back and forth action. But a lot of this match, you could see Jodie Fret needing to have eyes in the back of her head because of Rosemary scatting around the ring. There was no Danny Luna on this to pick her to help her out on this. Not quite sure what the issue is there. But Wendy Cho did dominate the majority of this match. And just when it looked like the tide was turning and Jodie Fret was actually going to come out and pick up the victory, Rosemary throws Wendy Cho's pillow into the ring, and the distraction from that led to Wendy Cho picking up the victory over Jodie Fret. A big victory going into Bound for Glory. That one half of the champions have been pinned going into their title match at Bound for Glory. So, will it happen again? Will an NXT star walk out with TNA gold tomorrow night? Like I've already said before, the only way to find out is downloading that TNA Plus app and watching some Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory tomorrow night. It will be an absolutely fantastic show. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Now, interesting. The System were backstage by Elisa Edwards. As always, they asked us if we want to know something. Moose responds to the vignette that we saw earlier from Santana, addressing them ahead of their Bound for Glory show this week, obviously tomorrow night, sorry. And as we come back from a commercial break, Hanifan and Ray will run down that Bound for Glory card, which we will do once we finish with Impact. We'll start with the countdown to Bound for Glory, which will have the Ash by Elegance match on there as well. Now we get to the main event match of the evening. There is a main event that happens after this, but that was more of a segment. This was a match. The Hardys and ABC against the System. These teams have been going at it now for months. And if you remember, tomorrow night at Bound for Glory, the Hardys and Bullet Club ABC will take on the System in a triple threat tag team Full Metal Mayhem, aka Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Now, a lot of this match resolved around Jeff Hardy being beaten down by JDC and the System. They kept Jeff Hardy isolated in the corners like a normal great tag team would do. And like we normally see on a Hardy Boys match, Jeff Hardy gets the brunt of the punishment, eventually makes that hot tag to Matt Hardy. The Impact Zone comes to life. At that point, a delete chance. Alicia Edwards getting involved in a lot of these matches, lots parts of this match. She did pull down the ropes part of this match again to give the System the advantage. And as we come back from the break, it wasn't much longer before the match ultimately culminates with the Bullet Club ABC and the Hardys picking up another huge win. The tag team champions getting beaten again, going in to Bound for Glory. Full Metal Mayhem tomorrow night, guys. It's going to be a brilliant show. In fact, don't Bullet Club ABC hold the titles? Oh, that's a schoolboy for me. I can't remember. Sorry, again, it's been a hell of a long day, guys. But however, that leads us to the dual contract signing with Joe Hendry, Nick Nemeth, Masha Slamovich, who was on this show this week, guys. Go and check it out. 7,500 people did. So please go and check that out. Just a quick one at the end of that match. My notes does say that there was more of an attack from the System. Santana comes out with a chain, but he gets hit by a kendo stick by Alicia Edwards. And as he was closing on Moose, and Moose ended up attacking him and the Hardys and the ABC, and the System did indeed stand tall at the end of that match. So unfortunately for Hardys and ABC and Santana, they won the battle, but the war of TNA this week was won by the system. Will they win the war tomorrow night at Bound for Glory though? Is another question entirely, which does lead me again to the main event of the evening, which was of course the contract signing. Masha Slamovich, Jordan Grace, Nick Nemeth, and Joe Hendry, the dual contract signing. Santino Marella in the ring as well. And it does indeed get interrupted by Kazarian. Now, Kazarian was in there. He was running down everybody in on that card in those two main events. He was running them down how he belongs in it. He's the referee as well for the men's main event. He was running them all down. And eventually, Kazarian gets put through the table by all four competitors in the main events of Bound for Glory. It was a really good way to end the segment. I think Morella was going to hit the Cobra at one point as well. Going to be crazy, crazy, crazy times in that. So crazy way to end all four of the competitors standing tall. So we did have a bit of the usual way that these contract signings end. They did go through the table, but it wasn't anybody that's actually competing in any of the matches. It was the referee for the men's world championship that was the one that got put through the table in the end. Now, which was quite hilarious, to be quite honest with you. So that brings us on to Bound for Glory. Now, as we mentioned before, on the road to Bound for Glory, or the countdown to Bound for Glory, we'll see Zaya Brookside in tag team action with Brittany Reese against Heather and Ash by Elegance. My prediction from that is the Elegances will pick up the victory in that match, which I'm looking forward to seeing on the road to Bound for Glory, on the countdown. I keep getting it wrong. The countdown to Bound for Glory. Everyone, make sure you check that out. We're going to go in Wikipedia order, ladies and gentlemen, as well. So I've already said one match, unfortunately. There was a match before that on the countdown to Bound for Glory, and that is the 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The winner will receive a trophy and a contract they can invoke in any time for a calendar year for a championship match of their choosing. We know Kazarian's number 1. We know AJ Francis is number 20. We do not know the competitors in between. I would imagine Callahan and something and all the ones that were in the original Scramble match at the start will be included in that, as well as some women as well. I'm going to go for Frankie Kazarian, and I will tell you why later. But Kazarian is my pick for that. We go back to, it was the Ash by Elegance match that was next. We already said, I believe the Elegances will win. They then go with the Nick Nemeth Joe Hendry match for the World Championship. So that kind of goes nicely to what I think is going to happen here. What I think is going to happen is we are going to see some John Bradshaw Layfield involvement in this match. But here's what I think. Joe Hendry will pick up the win and become TNA World Heavyweight Champion. John Bradshaw Layfield will then give Joe Hendry the clothesline from hell. Frankie Kazarian will then call his shot, then decide to call his shot. He will win the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And all along, John Bradshaw Layfield has been in cahoots with Frankie Kazarian. You can thank me later, people. That's what I think is going to happen in that match. So there you go. PCO Matt Cardona, the Monsters Ball match for the Digital Championship and the International Heavyweight Championship. For me, I will say PCO will win that. Steph DeLander obviously out with a neck injury. She's had surgery now, thank God, and she's on the mend. So best of wishes to Steph DeLander. But I think PCO continues as champion in this one. Mainly because I do eventually see Steph DeLander turn on him, and that was been my plan all along. I thought that Steph DeLander would turn on PCO, but as she assuming that she's not there, and assuming because of her neck injury as well, we saw the brace and all the plasters that she's had on her neck. My intuition would say that PCO walks out champion and Bound for Glory. Mike Santana versus Moose next on the list on this match. I'm going for Santana on this. I think the system come up short on all of their matches this week, and just coincidentally, the System are tag team champions. Even though I kind of said they were, then I said it was ABC. It is actually the System. So there you go. Yeah, Santana for me wins that match. We go on to that the freeway Full Metal Mayhem match, the System versus Bullet Club versus Matt and Jeff Hardy. I think it's the Hardys' time to shine again at Bound for Glory. I think they take the TNA Tag Team Championships one more time. The Hardy Boys will get their recognition that they deserve on this, and they will claim the gold. Speaking of claiming the gold, the Jordan Grace Masha Slamovich match. Slamovich has guaranteed victory in this match at Bound for Glory. She's come up short on a few occasions. If you listen to her interview on this channel, she will go into detail as to why she believes she's going to win that match. And I absolutely agree with her. I predict that Masha Slamovich walks out of Bound for Glory with the Knockouts Championship. Jordan Grace's run will come to an end. We know contractually January, it's a few months out of the way. I think Slamovich ends the impressive reign of the Juggernaut this coming Saturday or tomorrow night at Bound for Glory. That is my prediction, not a spoiler. Mike Bailey and El Hijo del Vikingo will be an X Division showcase. I don't know the contractual situation of Vikingo in this. I'm unaware of that. With that being said, I think Mike Bailey retains on that basis that I don't know if this is a one-shot deal for Vikingo in TNA. It will be an extraordinary match, that is for sure. But I predict that Mike Bailey will walk out X Division champion this coming Saturday or tomorrow night, wherever you want to look at it, at Bound for Glory. That is my prediction right there. And the last one is Alexander and Macklin. Ooh, that is a difficult one to choose, guys. I am not sure who wins this match, but I'm going to go out on the limb, guys. I'm going to go out on a limb for you guys, and I'm going to pick Alexander to walk out of Bound for Glory the victory over Steve Macklin. All will be revealed, guys, tomorrow night. TNA Plus app, Bound for Glory. Get yourself the TNA Plus app, get subscribed, and watch some Bound for Glory. We'll be back on Sunday with the Bound for Glory review show, so make sure you tune into the channel then. Keep it locked, HTT Buckle on Twitter and on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on Instagram. Until next time, everybody, enjoy Bound for Glory, enjoy TNA, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.